I want to welcome you this early frosty December morning to a Vital Business presentation that has actually been in the making for several months now. I myself have actually looked at several programs to be able to introduce NICAN as a concept, to be able to help individuals understand what NICAN is, the industry in which we work in, and at the same time to be able to figure out in a short, concise time frame if individuals are interested in learning more about NICAN. Now, a good friend of mine and I have actually been working on what you're actually going to see here is what we call a Vital Business presentation. Allows us the ability to be able to sit down with an individual to go through a 9-page flip chart and find out what their level of interest is. In this recording, we're actually going to be utilizing a fresh pair of eyes with Rosemary, having her be able to give back some feedback and some answers according to how this is designed and what it's supposed to be used. So you will want to take notes to be able to understand at what point in time the questions are asked and what questions are given at this point in time throughout this presentation. Once again, it is actually designed to be able to be utilized in 21 minutes or less. I personally have an individual within my organization that has not touched the 15-minute mark. He's always been less than 15 minutes. So with that being said, we're going to jump straight into it. Rosemary, I want to thank you for your time this morning and being able to help us go through this.
You're welcome.
So at this point in the game, I want to ask you some specific high-yielding questions to find out what your wants, needs, and interests are. Okay? So with that having been said, if you had the ability to, in your life, looking at what you're doing right now, what would you like to be different or enhanced upon?
I'd like to be able to go on vacation and not worry about where the money was coming from and how long I could be gone.
Okay. So that financial influx is something that's well sought after. It's something that would help you have the ability to be able to travel. What would you be doing with that travel? Where would you be going?
Gosh, I don't know. Where would I be going? Any place tropical.
Okay, in southeastern Idaho it's pretty cold here, so anywhere where the white stuff isn't, right?
Exactly.
Okay. So in today's daily routine, what are you doing now to be able to obtain that? What are you doing now to get it?
Nothing much.
Not much, okay. If your life changed and you had the ability to have that financial influx which allowed you the ability to travel to someplace tropical, to be able to have less stress in your life and things like that, how would your life be different today if you were living that lifestyle right now?
Well, I'd be a lot tanner.
Okay.
A lot more relaxed. I would love to be able to take my grandkids and take them to Disneyland, someplace warm in Florida.
Okay. So family time would be something that you would be spending a great deal more of?
Exactly.
Okay. Alrighty. So on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the most of wanting to experience that, and 0 of course being that it's just a mere wish, you don't really want to work towards it.
Right.
Scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the absolute most dire need. Where would that fit for you?
9.
It'd be a 9. Okay. Alrighty. So if there was a very simplistic way in which we could share with you and show you how you could obtain those dreams and goals that you've just outlined, is there any reason why we can't move forward?
No, no reason.
Okay. Alrighty. With that, I want to bring to your attention the screen in front of you. Now, in life in general, asking those questions, we find that a lot of people are actually looking for 4 specific things. They are more money, more time, to be able to spend with your family, and to be able to have better health. Okay, now you've actually outlined 3 of those 4.
Right.
Okay, now with this in and of itself, we're actually going to address every single one of those wants and needs that you have. Okay?
Okay.
But what we're going to do is we're going to talk about two specific critical challenges that face everybody today. And that is, of course, healthcare and the economy. Now, the sad thing about it is if you look at it, is it a possibility to separate healthcare from the economy?
I don't think so.
Yeah,
I think they're both hand in hand.
Yeah, they're both connected, aren't they?
They are.
Absolutely. You know, I don't want to talk politics or political views, things like that, but the healthcare status of today is actually causing a major drain on the economy. And at the same point in time, if you're not physically able to give back to the community, then you're not part of the solution, but rather part of the problem.
Right. I
Okay.
can see that.
And at the same time, yeah, I'll just continue on to move on, kind of beat this subject up a little bit. We're actually going to talk about both of these one at a time.
Okay.
Now, with healthcare, we happen to know that there are vital elements of life, and they are as follows. We have nutrition, air, water, sleep, and light. Okay. Now, I don't want to spend a great deal of time talking in depth about every single one of these, but is it a possibility that perhaps there's something in the food that we eat on a daily basis that is causing health issues?
I'm sure of that.
Okay. What about the air that we breathe?
Well, there's a lot of pollution.
Okay. What about the water that we drink?
That's a little scary.
Yeah, that's pretty scary too. What about the possibility of our fast-paced, hectic lifestyles? Would that have an effect on our sleep, which could affect our health as well?
Well, sleep is hard to come by when you're running.
Exactly. And then, of course, you know, light being one of the most important things. You know, without light or the ability to get the natural sunlight that our body needs to function, if we're sick or ailing and things of that nature, if we spend a great deal of our time indoors, removing ourselves from the natural source of light that we need, would that also have a benefit, or excuse me, a problem, create a problem with our health?
Yeah, it really would.
Okay. So, with that having been said, that literally describes the environment in which we live on a daily basis. Would you agree?
I agree.
Okay. So what if all of a sudden we had the ability to correct every single one of those 5 vital elements of life to be able to create what is known as a wellness home, allowing us the opportunity to be able to enhance every single one of those elements of life and to bring technologies and literally create a wellness home concept inside our home? What would that do for our health?
Well, I think it would really improve us.
Okay. You know, the one thing I love to ask is, with this system in and of itself, with the wellness home concept, would that actually address the healthcare issues of today?
Yeah, I think it would.
Okay. Now, obviously, if we fall out of a tree or get hit by a train, we're going to need the medical system of today. But wouldn't it make more sense to be proactive towards our health instead of reactive, waiting for something to happen?
That sounds good.
Yeah. So, with that idea in mind, I want to share a simple story about the wellness home concept, what it can do, and the implications thereof. Okay. And here's a story about my family that I experienced firsthand. Okay. In 2002, when my daughter was born, my wife's health was rapidly falling apart, and I decided at that time to take her to a specialist to figure out what was going on, what's causing all these health issues. After the doctor ran a great deal of tests and things of that nature, he come in the room and divulged his professional opinion of my wife actually inheriting a genetic kidney disease from her father. He gave us 4 major bullet points of things to be aware of and to expect. The first being that he mentioned that 5 to 7 years we're going to have limited kidney function, which will eventually lead into utilizing dialysis on a weekly basis and eventually kidney transplant surgery. From that point, he also told us that if we tried for any more children, that we could possibly lose my wife, the baby, or both. At the same time, he said that we should be extremely lucky the fact that we had 1 child, because most individuals within my wife's poor state of health could not have any children at all. Then he topped everything off by saying, by the way your wife's blood work came back, I should have you go up and get on dialysis today because it's that filthy. So at that time, the wellness home concept made perfect sense to me. It's something that I understood. It's something that resonated with me because of the fact that I knew that we could actually poison ourselves with the environment in which we live on a daily basis. So the ability to clean up our environment made sense to me. So with that idea, we're going to come right back to the company that gives us the ability to have these wellness home technologies to create a wellness home. That company is Nican. A few bullet points on the company. As they were established in 1975, they did their first $1 billion worth of business in 4.5 years. They've got 40 million plus global satisfied customers, currently operating in 35 plus countries and 5 continents worldwide. And my personal favorite, they're debt free. Now, Rosemary, if these were the 5 bullet points that you knew about the company, what does it say about the company itself?
Sounds like it's very stable.
Okay. What does that also suggest about the technologies that they have to offer?
Well, they wouldn't be that high up in everybody in $1 billion in 4.5 years if they hadn't done some good sales, and people must be using those products and satisfied.
Exactly. At the same point, I always like to point out kind of a rather comical point, but either the technologies themselves work, or we're doing mass hypnosis worldwide, and I don't know how to do that. So hypnosis is something I know nothing about. So it would, yes, just like you mentioned, it would suggest the fact that the technologies in and of themselves actually do work. The other thing that I'd love to point out as well, it's not on the screen, but the technologies that we do have to offer are actually internationally patented. We don't have to worry about any copycats, knockoffs, or competition. Is that something that you would enjoy having as a business?
Yes.
Okay. So, moving on to the idea, we talk about the 5 vital elements of life. There's actually 6. What do you believe the 6th one to be?
Gosh, I don't know. Why don't you give me a hint?
Well, it's green. It's got Benjamin Franklin's face on it. But money. 3 specific things I love to point out about money. First and foremost, it won't buy happiness, but it makes a pretty good down payment.
Right.
At the same time, it isn't the most important thing in life, but it is reasonably close to oxygen. When you need it, you really need it.
For sure.
Okay. The other thing that I'd like to point out as well is with individuals that tell you that they're not concerned about money, chances are they'll probably fib about other things as well.
Oh,
So
sure.
money is something that is constantly on everybody else's mind because it can create major issues. So how wealth is created with this specific system is what we'll do is establish you as a business entity so that you could utilize those 400 plus tax deductions that are available for you. Okay, now Rosemary, if you had the ability to utilize 400 plus tax deductions, what would that do for your finances as a household?
Wow, that'd be great.
Okay.
It would sure help out.
Yeah, make a big difference in that department. Okay, is it a possibility that you believe that other individuals would like to learn how to utilize those tax deductions as well?
Well, sure, I've got some friends that would be interested.
Okay, so the beauty of it is allowing them or helping them utilize those 400 plus tax deductions as well. Now at the same time, introducing the wellness home concept, it's not a matter of if, but rather it's a matter of when something in life happens. Health issues, you fall out, you have, it's called life in general. Okay?
Right.
It's just a process of time when something occurs that will cause you to seek alternative attention to be able to help your body rebuild and repair.
Okay.
Okay? So introducing the wellness home concept to these individuals as well to help them become proactive instead of reactive.
Right.
Because it's a very simple thought process, but if you are not proactive towards your health, then you're reactive, not by choice, but by default. Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
Okay. So introducing the wellness home concept and helping these individuals that you know with the areas in which they're concerned about, when anything within this business model is bought, sold, or purchased, you will earn a residual or a commission off of everything that happens within your organization. Okay, so as a clerical point, with this business model right here showing how financial stability is created, how many businesses would you like to establish?
As many as I can.
Exactly. And the fun thing about this is there is absolutely no limitations. The sky is the limit. Okay?
Okay.
So we want to talk about a very simple concept about balance. We have a very simple philosophy, and that is known as the 5 pillars of health. That is healthy mind, body, family, healthy society, healthy finances. Taking a snapshot of where you are at right now, where do you believe you are? Do you live a life of total balance, or do you live a life out of balance?
I'm sure it's a little bit out of balance right now.
Okay. So with everything that we've shown you up to now, have we helped address the issue of how we could help you create a life of balance?
Yes, very much.
Okay. So with that being said, you now have a decision to make. It's a very simple decision, but there are 3 main options that most individuals choose. Okay. Option number 1 is you can do nothing and life will stay the same. And the dreams and goals that you have outlined before that you would love to have may or may not happen.
That's sad.
Exactly. Option number 2. You can actually get a membership which will allow you the opportunity to utilize these life-enhancing technologies at a 25 to 35% discount.
Okay.
Or option number 3. You could begin by getting in a business partnership with us to be able to work towards putting your life back in balance, to be able to utilize those 400 plus tax deductions that are available, and to predictably work towards creating that 6-figure income. So of option 1, 2, or 3, which one actually fits you the best to help you get where you want?
I think number 3 would be great.
Number 3, okay. Is this something that you would like to take care of sooner or later?
Well, right now my time is my own, so let's get going.
Alrighty. With that, I appreciate your time. When would be a good time to sit down with you so we can begin our business partnership?
Just as soon as you can.
Tomorrow night?
You bet.
We'll be there. 6 o'clock?
Sounds great.
Alright.